Welcome to Whiskey is a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. In today's journey, we're going to head out of Nevada and we're going to head over to Kentucky. There isn't a specific distillery just yet because they're in the process of making one, but we're going to take a look at Blue Run Golden Rye Whiskey. Let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it, give it a score, and then if you guys wait around until the end, I've got my sister coming back in and we're going to be doing a Brooklyn cocktail. This is Blue Run's Golden Rye inaugural release of their rye whiskey. I have to refer to my notes. This is the summer batch, batched in June 25th of 2022. It's bottle 26 of 650. It's coming in at 47.5% ABV, 95 proof. There is no age statement. It's bottled in Bardstown, Kentucky, but they don't disclose where they're getting their whiskey from. And I also don't know the mash bill. This is a 750 milliliter bottle and I paid just under $100. This is $97.99 in Phoenix, Arizona. All right, let's get this thing on the nose. It is sweet. I get a little herbal pine note, not much. Slight amounts of butterscotch, vanilla, and caramel. This smells really good. And I'm having a hard time, well, having a hard time is not necessarily correct. I'm seeing a lot of resemblance between high rye bourbons and low rye ryes. And the one thing that I do get in the low rye ryes that I don't get in the high rye bourbons is that pine herbal note. And this definitely has a pine herbal note, almost like a tea note in here as well. Smells really good. Let's get it on the palate. Oh, that's a pretty healthy pour. I just noticed that. Let's get it on the palate. Well, it's a good thing that it's a healthy pour because this is delicious. Holy cow. Butterscotch, vanilla, and caramel. That sweetness is coming through. I get hit with a little bit of pine, a little bit of tannin on the side. I get a slight rye spice, not necessarily a pepper spice, but it's a rye spice. And I'm having a very difficult time describing what a rye spice is without using the word pepper. But it's not quite pepper, but it does have a slight spicy note to it that's reminiscent of pepper, but it's not quite there. It doesn't quite have the heat that a pepper note would bring. Well, this is really good. I do get a slight nose of ethanol, but overall, I really like the nose on this. Let's get that second sip down. Well-rounded, not very sharp. There are sharp aspects to this because of the spice, but I would not call this a sharp rye. From the arrival to the mid palate, definitely sweetness. Towards the back end, I do get a barrel tannin, the rye spice, and that pine herbal note. Not really a big difference between that first and second sip. So far, very pleasant. Let's go ahead and talk about Blue Run really quick. Let this open up a little bit and then get that third sip down and then the score, then the cocktail. Blue Run is relatively new to the game. They were established in 2020. Mike Montgomery and Devin McKinney are the co-founders. Devin McKinney is coming from Nike. He was the creative director over there and he was in charge of, I think, 5 award-winning Nike shoes. And he brought those design aspects or those design creativity and put it into this bottle. And I've got to tell you, it's a fantastic looking bottle, but that makes no difference if the whiskey inside the bottle is not any good. And thankfully, this is actually really, really good stuff. With a disclaimer, because we don't know where this one is actually coming from. A lot of the information that I'm getting, I got from the Bourbon Junkies. They actually did an interview with these two guys. And even though they were talking about contract distilling with Castle and Key and Bardstown Bourbon Company, they were very hesitant to talk about where this inaugural rye actually came from. And I do believe they are currently in construction 2023 of their distillery. There's going to be a 35,000 square foot distillery along with a 20,000 square foot rickhouse. And according to the notes that I have, this is going to be built in the Lanes Run Business Park in Georgetown, Kentucky. And to help them with this whiskey or all of their bourbons and ryes, they brought on Jim Rutledge. And I don't know this for sure, but Jim Rutledge is associated in some way with Castle and Key. And he's doing contract distilling, or they are doing contract distilling with Castle and Key and Bardstown Bourbon Company. Apparently, until everything gets up and running, they're using Jim Rutledge as a, what do they call it? They called him a liquid advisor. So I don't know if he's actually over there getting involved in the distilling process or if they're actually taking some barrels and blending them together from Castle and Key and Bardstown and then creating their expressions with their bourbons and ryes. If you guys know, let me know in the comments down below how all of this is actually working before they start distilling their own liquid. In some of the articles I read, the distillery looks really modernized, and I'm going to put some B-roll clips in here right now. I'm going to link the description to the Bourbon Junkies video in the description below. I highly suggest you go check that video out. These guys seem really enthusiastic about producing a modern day whiskey company or a modern day distillery. All right, let's move on to that third sip, give it a score, and get on to the Brooklyn. All right, now that it's been in the glass for a little while, I'm getting more butterscotch. The sweetness is really coming through with that vanilla and caramel. Mid-palate, it escalates with that rye spice, tannin on the side, and again, it finishes with that butterscotch note. I really like this. Very well-rounded. It's sharp without being too sharp, and with that last exhale, I got a little bit of a cola note along with butterscotch. This is actually really, really good. All right, so my scoring system is out of 5 stars, and up to this point in my rye series, Frey Ranch scored the highest at 4. And because of everything that I've talked about so far, that butterscotch, the rye, the well-roundedness, a little bit of barrel tannin on the side, that cola note that I got at the very end there, I'm gonna put this one right up there with Frey Ranch, and I'm gonna give this one 4 out of 5 stars. It is really, really good. Even though it's coming in at $97, $98, let's just call it $100 with tax, I still think that this is well worth, well, not well worth it. I don't think anything's well worth $100 value-wise, but in today's prices with everything going up in price, you can't knock $100, especially for the quality that is in here. I do like it. I highly suggest you guys check it out if you can, if it's in your area. I was on the lookout for this, and at some point this year in 2023, this popped up in Total Wine, and I ended up buying 4 bottles, 2 ryes and 2 bourbons. If you have experience with Blue Run, let me know in the comments down below. This is my 1-year anniversary, so I want to give a shout out to every single person that has clicked on one of my videos, made some comments, liked the video, shared the video, coming back to these videos and watching them. I really appreciate it. My goal at some point, I think maybe 2 months ago, I thought 2,000 subscribers was going to be a good goal to reach. It looks like it came up about 165 subscribers short, but it's no big deal. The channel is on a good trajectory, and that's all thanks to you guys. And I'm really looking forward to this next year on the channel. So cheers to you guys. Let's go ahead and get on to the Brooklyn. All right, we got everything set up, and I got my sister here again.
Hi, everyone.
And we are going to be making the Brooklyn. We had this drink maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I am not positive I remember anything about it other than I think it was just meh.
Yeah, I think I remember the same thing. Like it wasn't knocked down like, ooh, I need to have another one of these.
And something in my head, every time I think about Brooklyn, I always think about Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
Till Brooklyn.
And I think you're going to get a lot of sleep because there's a lot of alcohol in this. I think everything in here is alcohol. And just like always, I'm going to be making a double recipe here so the 2 of us can drink, so we're not sharing a drink. And then in the description below, I'm going to put the recipe for 1 drink. So I think we're all set.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
There's a lot. So as I do this, we'll pass it over your way. The recipe calls for 2 ounces of rye. So that is 4. The dry vermouth calls for 1 ounce, and I'm going to put 2. That seems like a lot.
Maybe this is why.
The dry vermouth?
Yeah, we're remembering why we may not have been that fond of it, because all of these ingredients sound amazing when you say them individually.
And I think we can put sweet vermouth in here, but I think Anders Ericsson, thank you for the recipe again. Anders mentioned something about the sweetness of this is going to be balanced with the dry vermouth. But if we're not liking it, and that's the beauty of cocktails, we can kind of switch them around and make them the way we want. And then we have 1/4 of an ounce of Luxardo Maraschino liqueur.
That just sounds yummy.
It does. That has the orange notes to it. So 1/4 of this, so I'm going to put 1/2 ounce. And then 1/4 of an ounce Amaro Ramazzotti. What, 1/4? We're going to do 1/2.
Good. I like the good. I'm just going to taste everything.
That smells like Dr. Pepper. Smell that.
It almost tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Why didn't we like this?
I don't know, because these ingredients they taste fabulous on their own.
And then we're using Free Brothers Orange Bitters So I'm going to put 3 in. That's the single recipe, but I'm going to do 6 dashes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I'm gonna
7, 8.
I'm going to do more because barely anything came out.
I saw
see.
dashes.
Maybe that's why we don't like it, because I'm like, ah.
A bartender, he is not.
Oh, you can definitely smell the orange. All right, and then we're going to add the ice, stir it. We're using Nick and Nora glasses, and they're being chilled right now. They're in the freezer. I'm going to have my sister practice her skills again. And I think John is the person that made that comment last time about holding the glass and stirring until you don't feel it getting any colder. So thank you very much for the comment. Add the ice, stir. I'll go grab the glasses.
Is that it?
That's it.
It's
stir
time?
I'm going to get the glasses.
Okay.
I still have it. No.
Sleep till Brooklyn.
And we're going to garnish this with a cherry, and we're going to drop the cherry
That's my favorite part,
into the bottom.
which it probably shouldn't be. I love when the cherry sits in there forever and it soaks up all of the alcohol, and then you eat it at the end. To me, that's the best part. It's almost like, remember when we were back in college, you would go to those parties and they would throw all the fruit in the watermelon with Everclear? And then you would eat the fruit, and then the fruit is what would make you really drunk because they've been sitting and they're soaking up all the alcohol.
Well, apparently I wasn't part of the cool kid crowd. I never went to parties like that in college. I stayed home and studied while all you did was look off my papers and cheat.
Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me have an amazing college experience.
Okay. No bitterness here. The only bitterness here is going to be in the drinks.
Be in the drinks. All right. What are you doing with the orange?
I'm gonna express it.
I like these glasses. They seem...
They're very delicate. The Nick and
very
Nora's.
dainty. This seems more... It seems more than a... Something about these glasses with this drink and the smell seems very Italian to me.
Oh, I think I already expressed them.
Can never have too much orange in my opinion.
Yeah, I really like the orange flavors on a lot of these drinks. So there you go.
Okay.
Brooklyn.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
Check it
Here's
out.
to the Beastie Boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. To smell it first. I would say this.
Yeah, I think maybe the dry vermouth
We need to
is
replace.
what's throwing
Throwing
it
it
off.
off.
Oh, there's the dry vermouth. Yeah, I don't like.
No.
Yeah,
I think
that doesn't
this
finish
needs
really
to be
well.
replaced with something else, because all of these by themselves, when I tasted them and I smelled them, were fabulous. But mixed together in this glass, that's kind of confusing me because I would not have expected it to taste like this. It's kind of flat, where all of these really have some personality on their own.
You know what? I think I'm going to agree with you there. I do think it's flat. The individual components are better than them
Mixed
as
together.
a whole. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just need to shoot it and eat the cherry at the bottom.
Maybe.
We're not going to do that.
No. Yeah, I would be really interested in somebody having an opinion maybe we just replace it with sweet
With
vermouth.
the sweet vermouth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that dry vermouth, I think, is throwing it off.
And it leaves a not so pleasant aftertaste,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to like every single drink.
exactly. Every cocktail is not for everybody.
Right. And somebody out there may love this. I think that when we made this, I think Lynn was here, and I think she actually liked this. But she likes drinks that are a little bit more on the bitter side than the sweet
It
side.
matches her bitter soul. I'm joking.
We're
Lynn.
joking, Lynn. You're an amazing person. Because she likes the Boulevardier,
Yeah.
which is
That's way bitter. And
Yeah.
neither one of us like that. So when we do the Boulevardier,
Lynn will be here.
She'll be here
instead
instead
me
of my
because
sister.
she really loves the Boulevardier, and I not a fan.
okay, I'm going
right.
to take one more sip. Enjoy your journey, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Bye. These are very delicate glasses.
They are. So there you go.
Yeah, I think we've
You win
wrapped
some,
up.
you lose some. Sorry.
It's okay.
I like to talk over him.
And I also need to let you guys know, I told her this. This is a pain to edit and put like closed captions in it because we're always not really competing, but I try to say something and then she jumps in and it's difficult to do the edits and get everything, the transcript. It's a nightmare.
I'm a nightmare. I make
you're not
I make
a nightmare.
his job a nightmare. Well, cheers to that.
I actually got a crank in my neck. All right, that's
because he's leaning away from me. I lean toward him because I love him, and he leans away from me. Mom,
you crowded me.
Touching me.